Good afternoon. My name is Ethan Cook and these are your 3:30 Solent Sports headlines. It's always easy to criticise high divers at the Olympics, but it's all fun and games until you give it a go yourself and realise the difficulty. Here is a quick package to show.
It's quite a niche sport. I guess you get sucked into it. And then your look was there, just a bit of overreach again. Well done, just watch that, good boy. I first started when I was 8 years old and I just did lots of public sessions. That ended up me being enrolled into the diving club. You have to be brave because obviously you're going off the really high boards, but also it's really good for a challenge. Much better start. Just try and snap out of the shape a bit quicker, make it look a bit sharper. They're training every day, so that's the physical side of it, but they also have to mentally prepare for, big dives that they'll do up here. So we do have a lot of conversations with them about, what mindset they have to be in and their confidence, but also they do go through like psychology training where they'll speak to specialists and work through that as well. It's not something that's commonly watched throughout the year, but as soon as it comes on sports like the Olympics or World Championships, people seem to get drawn to it, and it's really good publicity for the sport. You need to have your hands to protect your body when you're going through the water, okay, and pierce the water. So grab the back of your hand. I'm right-handed, so I grab the back of it like that, okay? I think for someone that maybe isn't that acrobatic, it can be quite difficult. I think if someone's quite talented and they've got, good movement, then, they can pick it up fairly quickly, or they've done gymnastics. But for someone that doesn't do anything like that, then it can be difficult. Just a little bit of a slap on the water, you've got to keep your arms up, but much better. My proudest career moment is getting divers to go from grassroots all the way up to international. I have had divers go to junior Europeans and junior World Championships. So for me, that's big, but also, just generally helping this program flourish. That's always makes me proud. So
if you're looking to get into diving around Southampton and want to get better than me, head over to the Keys website on screen. James Mann, Solent Sports News.
Southampton's Tonda Eckert has won the Championship's Manager of the Month award for February. Saints took 13 points from a possible 15 as they went unbeaten last month, finishing with successive wins over QPR and Sheffield Wednesday, putting them into playoff contention. He has won 12 of his 23 league games, taking the South Coast club from 21st all the way to the race for the top 6 finish. In boxing, Ryan Garner says he wants a future shot at the winner of the world title fight between James Dickens and Anthony Cacace. The Southampton fighter faces Christian Belima in Dublin this weekend, aiming to extend his unbeaten record to 19-0. Garner hopes a victory will set up a major hometown headline fight at St Mary's Stadium later this summer. Hampshire's Harry Hickton was involved in a seismic crash in October last year, racing at Brands Hatch in the Mini Challenge Trophy. The road to recovery for his car had a lot more implications than first thought, balancing both work and racing. Josh Cole reports.
That was Harry Hickton's crash at the end of the Mini Challenge Trophy, but it ended up causing more problems than just ending his season.
It was a massive kick in the teeth, really, because, like I said, we struggle with it all, we put it all together, we work so hard to come racing because we love it and try and make a career out of it, and for that to happen to no one else but just us, it was hard, and we knew we had a challenge on our hand. We have a challenge on our hands to go racing every year itself.
A lot of work was ahead to get the car rebuilt for the upcoming season, and to document his journey, Harry started a YouTube channel and series called Road to Rebuild.
Basically showing the road to rebuilding. It's definitely helped, get my personal exposure out a bit more, and then as well as that, my sponsors, which has obviously helped fund the rebuilding and getting back on the grid for this season.
Racing for Harry isn't just turning up on a Friday to the track and driving. There is a lot more work involved, and it doesn't always involve money.
It's difficult. I think that's the hardest part of it. It's balancing, getting on the grid, doing racing, sorting the car, sorting everything else around it. That feels like a full-time job, and you don't actually really earn a penny out of it. but you just do it for passion, and then we have the job on the side. The YouTube side of it is part of the racing, but that takes up time and effort and planning as well.
His actual job is being an ARDS Grade A driver coach, and it is difficult to balance that alongside racing and preparing for a race.
And then instructing and coaching, that's sort of my job, and then that obviously can take up days on end. So it is definitely hard, balancing it all, doing it all at the same time, pretty much.
Josh Cole, Solent Sports News.
It is expected to be another busy day of racing at Cheltenham with the highly anticipated Gold Cup steeplechase, which is scheduled to take place at 4 p.m. I Know the Way You're Thinking will attempt to secure consecutive victories after defeating Galopin des Champs in last year's race, and he enters this year's event having rediscovered his form. He will be joined at the start by Harry Redknapp's horse, the Jukebox Man, as well as Gaelic Warrior and Django Bai. A world record has just been broken. Armand Duplantis has once again broken the pole vault world record, this time with a height of 6.31 metres. The Swede first won the world record in 2020 and has since beaten it 15 times, each time increasing the record by just 1 centimetre. His dominance is almost unheard of in sport, already winning back-to-back Olympic golds and is current favourite to win another in 2028. This year's Winter Olympics was historic for Team GB. Great Britain won 3 gold medals, 2 of which coming from the sport of skeleton. The performances of Matt Weston and Tabitha Stocker could inspire a new generation of skeleton athletes. I investigated into the sport, and here is what I found. Look at the focus of an Olympic champion about to race. If you want to follow in the footsteps of Matt Weston, then this is the perfect time. After historic success at the Winter Olympics, the British Bobsleigh and Skeleton Association has announced open tryouts for potential skeleton athletes. But what actually is skeleton?
So skeleton is a sport where you go head first on a sled down a track down the side of a mountain at speeds of up to 90 miles an hour.
Britain doesn't even have its own skeleton track, the closest being in Lillehammer, Norway. So how do athletes over here even get into the sport?
So a lot of our intakes come from talent ID processes. I went through, it's called Discover Your Gold. They test your, for me it was more power stuff. So like how fast you can run, how high you can jump, and how fast you can sprint and that sort of thing. Skeleton looked at my results and thought, yeah, got a couple of screws loose. Let's get him involved in this.
Matt Weston's success at the Winter Olympics has inspired a record high number of people to sign up for the trial, 99% of which will have never have slid down a track before. But what does it feel like the first time you fly down?
When you first start, you get sent off from about like halfway down the track. When your coach is over you and just lets you go, and you start accelerating and accelerating and accelerating, and the feeling of not having any brakes and not having any control because you're skidding, you're hitting walls, you're flying everywhere. It's just kind of like a big wake-up call. It's like, wow, I really am a complete novice at this.
If you're an adrenaline junkie, then this sport might be just for you. For me though, I'd rather stay in bed. Ethan Cook, Solent Sports News. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander broke a 63-year record by posting his 127th straight 20-plus point game as the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Boston Celtics 104-102. The streak surpasses Wilt Chamberlain's long-standing mark of 126 games set between 1961 and 1963. SGA finished with 35 points, 9 assists and 6 rebounds as the Thunder secured a 7th consecutive win. Bam Adebayo delivered one of the greatest scoring performances in NBA history, putting up 83 points in the Miami Heat's 150-129 win over the Washington Wizards. The total is the second highest ever in the NBA, behind Wilt Chamberlain's iconic 100-point game in 1962 and ahead of Kobe Bryant's 81. Adebayo also set league records for free throws made and attempted, making 36 of his 43. George Russell secured sprint pole at the Chinese Grand Prix. Lando Norris was the fastest non-Mercedes in third for McLaren, with Lewis Hamilton fourth for Ferrari. Max Verstappen could only manage 8th for Red Bull Racing as Russell claimed his second pole in 6 days. Rochdale AFC faced Eastleigh tomorrow, with the visitors battling to secure their place in the National League next season. Eastleigh arrive on the back of a late 2-1 win over Brackley Town FC, with top scorer Aaron Blair continuing his strong season. Rochdale will be confident though, having won 4 of the previous 5 meetings between the sides. Over to darts now, as Luke Littler booked his place in the semi-finals in the Premier League after claiming a narrow 6-5 victory over Gerwyn Price. The game wasn't with controversy, however, as Littler was involved in a feud with the crowd throughout. The reigning champion was on the receiving end of jeers and whistles from the crowd and responded by throwing his arms and shouting. Littler will face Luke Humphreys in the next round. Unai Emery has become the fastest Aston Villa manager to reach 100 club wins after securing a 1-0 victory against Lille in the Europa League round of 16 last night. The Spaniard surpasses former record holder Ron Saunders, who hit the 100-win mark whilst managing Aston Villa way back in 1978. Emery spoke on their performance last night and looked ahead to the second leg.
And today we did it. And of course, it's 1-0, 90 minutes. The last round, they lost here 1-0 against Red Star and they came back the result. Of course, we keep respecting them. And we are going to try to play the second leg with our game plan, continuing the work we did today, and of course being ready for everything.
Daniil Medvedev knocked Jack Draper out of the quarter-finals at Indian Wells Tennis Open with a 6-1, 7-5 win. A controversial hindrance called against Draper during the second set gave Medvedev a key point and drew loud boos from the crowd. Medvedev went on to break Draper's swerve and close out the match to reach the semi-finals. Elsewhere, US President Donald Trump has said that the Iranian national team is welcome to the World Cup. But in a post on Truth Social last evening, the president said that the Iranians were welcome to the US this summer, but clarified that he felt it was indeed inappropriate for the team to come for their own life and safety. It is not clear what threat is actually posing the players if they participate at the tournament, but FIFA will be looking for a swift resolution to this issue. That's all from me now. Join us again tomorrow at 2 o'clock for our special Soccer Saturday broadcast, which will include coverage from around the country and even Croatia, plus coverage inside the studio here, hosted by Pat Fitzgerald. Also, always remember that you can keep update with our website, solentsportsnews.com, and across all of our social medias, Solent Sports Journalism, for regular stories and always a lot of fun. See you soon. Goodbye.